Crafty Purple Dragon channel. So I've gone a little bit mad and I've bought quite a few books. I bought some pattern books. I've bought some stitch design books, like stitch encyclopedias. So this is a pattern book by Sheepsh. I think that's how you say it. Sheepsh. And it's various different things. I just thought it might be quite interesting. I can show you some pictures. Obviously I can't show you the patterns. There's a nice hanging garland. A cardigan. It's nice. Blanket pattern. Happy Folk blanket. Some Christmas pillow cuddlers. Scarf. A doorstop. Stocking for Christmas. It's quite Scandinavian, isn't it? But I guess the company is Scandinavian, I think. Sheepsh. Quaker quilt. That looks quite intricate, doesn't it? Talking about wooden accessories. A yarn swift, a yarn winder, a yarn bowl, wooden ornaments, and a yarn dispenser, don't know what you call it, hook gauge. These are all items that are available from them, I guess. And there's a tote bag. A dress, if you've ever fancied making a dress. Some dolls. This is about the designers, I think. Socks. A blanket. A shawl. Some embroidery on there, that's nice. Jumper. Decoration. Thread painting. Pillow cushion thing. Is this knitting or crochet? It's crochet. Jumper. fairy houses. And then the patterns, the patterns are in the back half, which obviously I can't show you. What is handy is they've got a back cover, which you can use to mark your place in the book, and I guess you can put your yarn through it so that you know what colour you were using. What's it say? So what? So this has got holes punched in it, so you can thread a sample of your yarn in here and then write down the details of the yarn so that you know what you're using. So that's quite handy. So that quite attracted me. I quite like folky type stuff. So I thought I'd have a look at that, see if there was anything in it that I'd like to make. I think there is. I'm not sure when I'll get round to it because I've got loads of other things to do, but I've got the book to refer to now, so that's that one. I also got this pattern book, which is for amigurumi. This has a flap so that you can keep your place as well. Unicorns and Dragons, Fantasy Amigurumi. And these are all the little characters that you can make in this book. And they're all quite cute. So I'll keep a picture of that there, and then I'll tell you, because I think the patterns are straight away. Yeah, the pattern comes with the picture. So the first section, let's have a look at this. So the first section is go for a swim with the mermaids and nymphs. Go Nessie spotting and dragon hunting, and follow the fairies and unicorns on a walk through the forest. So we start with Nessie. And then there's Pinch the Goblin. Pinch the Goblin. Oh, that's cute. Griffy the Griffin. Griffy the Griffin. Emily the Little Mermaid. Koji the Baby Dragon. Koji the Baby Dragon. Molly, the sweet tooth fairy. Periton, baby reindeer. Lily, Lily the water nymph. Cargo, Cargo the mushroom fairy. Sorry about the angles, but it's hard to get it in without getting the pattern in. And that's, who's this? Harriet the Pegasus. Drake the dragon. And this is Bobby, the dino corn. As you can see, there's a little dino with a horn on his head. I don't know that dino corns are a thing, but whatever. And we've got Kiki the phoenix. Belle the unicorn. So that's what you get in there. Let me just check that I've covered everything. Yeah. $14 designs altogether. In there. Quite nice. So the next thing I got was the Handbook of Crochet Stitches. Complete illustrated reference to over 200 stitches. So you get a picture of the stitch, and you get an explanation of how to do the stitch. And there's all the preamble telling you how to do different stitches, and then we get to the stitches themselves. So it comes with a picture of the stitch, a stitch, what do they call these, graph. There's somewhere where it told you. Right, okay. Stitch diagram, that's what it is. Stitch diagram. But for ease of reference, there's a stitch selector at the front, or near the front, so you can have a quick look at the different stitches in the book, and then you can go straight to the page for that particular stitch, and it'll give you the instructions. So this is the stitch collection itself. So if we take a stitch as an example. Let's have a look. We'll go with this one, number 11, which is on page 60. So we go to page 60. Oops. Number 11. There's this one. And it tells you, there's the stitch diagram and the instructions. So I thought it was quite good. This is by Betty Barnden, freelance needlecraft designer whose crochet designs have appeared in many magazines and been published by prestigious yarn companies. She has written books on knitting and embroidery and continues to inspire crochet fans the world over. Over 200 crochet stitches are explained in full, each accompanied by a photographed sample, row by row instructions and easy to follow symbol charts. Additional chapters on basic techniques and materials, a stitch selector and a how to use section provides clear guidance for beginners and experts alike. So that's the Handbook of Crochet Stitches. It's quite a nice little compact size. It's a handbook size, so that's handy. This book uses UK terminology. The next book I got is the complete book of crochet stitch designs, 500 classic and original patterns, and this is by Linda P. Schaffer. So this does a similar thing to the smaller book. There's information at the front. There's a key for all the chart symbols, that's handy. And you've got the pictures of all the stitches. And again, I like this stitch. You go to that page. That's the number and it's on page 36. So there's a handy reference. You can have a quick look through and see which stitches you fancy. And there's loads. Obviously there's 300 in here more than the last book, which is why it's quite a substantially bigger book. You can see all these different stitch designs and they're grouped in the book by the type of basic stitch. Let me just, I can't read upside down, sorry. So there's single crochet and chain, double crochet and chain, single crochet, double crochet and chain, treble crochet, double crochet, single crochet and chain, V-stitches, simple shells, shells fillet, shells symmetrical, shells overall pattern, shells and chains, shells staggered, shells small lace pattern, shells fantail, shells treble crochet, shells large lace patterns, clusters, clusters inverted shells, wraparound stitches, staggered squares, Y stitches, X stitches and crossed stitches, picots, bobbles, puff stitches, puff stitch combinations, popcorn stitches, dropped stitches, post stitches, horizontal stripe patterns, vertical columns, multi-stitches, and then miscellaneous. So there's an awful lot of stuff in here. Loads and loads and loads of different stitches. Now, I have used one of the stitch patterns in here. Let me just get the item that I made. So I made myself some fingerless gloves. Now, you can see there is a size difference, and that's deliberate. and I've made a left and a right hand. This is my right hand, and I made it bigger because I've got a big watch on and it needs to go over my big watch, so I made it bigger. And then this is my left hand. Whoops, wrong way. This is my left hand. So I'm getting caught on my ring. So the left hand is smaller because I've not got a big watch on this side. So I made these, and all I did was I did a single crochet into the back loop only for the cuff, and then I did one of the stitches out of here. Let me see if I can find it. It's a V-stitch, which start on page 84. It's probably easier just for me to go to the page. 84. Can't find it. 84. Right, let's find the stitch that I used. Oh. Where is it? I thought it was a V-stitch. Maybe it isn't a V-stitch. It's not a V-stitch. Hold on a minute. I've got it. One sec. So the stitch that I used for these gloves was here on page 84. Page 85. So this book uses US terminology. So there's a row of single crochet, and then there's a row of double crochet. It's 2 doubles into 1 stitch, miss a stitch, 2 doubles, miss a stitch, 2 doubles, miss a stitch, 2 doubles, and that's the finished effect, which I think is quite nice. But actually I think it looks different in the book somehow. I don't know whether it's the photography or what, but I do like the pattern, and the instructions were easy to follow. I've never used stitch diagrams before, but actually I find them easier to follow than the instructions. What I tend to do is read the pattern, and then once I've got my head around what the repeat is, I just use the chart to do it, because you can just quickly glance at the chart, whereas you have to read through the pattern. So that's handy. So that was that book. This is an encyclopedia an encyclopedic crochet stitch bible with 500 patterns. So yeah, very good. Like I say, this uses US terminology. So this is the next book that I got. It's by the same person as the stitch encyclopedia that I got. This is the complete book of crochet border designs. Sorry, still got my gloves on. So this is done in basically the same way. This is again in US terminology, and there's different stitches to build up the border, and it works on the same principle. And is there a... So there's the shortcut terminology for the charts there for ease of reference. There's some intro to stitches in the front. but what we don't have is the at a glance border swatches with this one. We're just straight into the different borders, and as you can see there are a lot. I'll just do a quick flick through just to show you, give you an idea of the range of different borders that there are. So you can see there's an awful lot of choice in there, and it's separated similarly to her stitch book. So there's single crochet and chains, single crochet chains and picots, single crochet double crochet chains and picots, half double crochet, treble crochet variations, mixed stitches, V stitches and small shells, staggered squares, drop stitches and crossed stitches, simple fillet and shells in grids, clusters and inverted shells, small shells, shells, large patterns, lace patterns, bobbles, popcorn stitches, puff stitches. So that's that border design book that goes with, well, it doesn't necessarily go with it, but it's done in a similar way to the stitch pattern book, and it's by the same person. So they are, I suppose, a good pairing to get. I also got another couple of border books. There's this one, which is around the corner crochet borders. And this, again, I believe is American terminology. And there's some info at the beginning. Details about edging different fabrics, not just crochet fabrics, different fabrics and putting borders on those. How you can change the look of a project by the border that you use. It's quite interesting. You know, she just goes into how the look is quite different depending on the colour combinations that you use. That's interesting. And then we go on to the different borders, and you get the detailed pattern notes on how to do the border. You get a picture of the border, and that's quite handy, the fact that it goes around the corner, because you can get your item. I mean, this doesn't need a border on it, but as an example, you get your item, you put it down, and you think, does that border look good with that blanket or shawl or whatever it is? So that's, I like that. And also it goes around the corner, which it's not always easy to get your border around the corner, so that's quite good. So you can see there are a lot of different borders in here. I'll do a flick through. There's lots and lots and lots of borders in there. Does it say how many there are? Let's have a look. Doesn't, does it? I don't think it actually says how many there are, but there are loads. Well, apart from on here, it says 150. Oh, there, the edgings, 150 crocheted designs, instructions and charts. So they're not, I don't think they're particularly grouped, you know, or organised by stitch type or anything like that. There's just 150 crochet borders in that book. And by the same person but in a slightly different format, there's this one, Every Which Way Crochet Borders, and this is by Edie Ekman. And there's 139 patterns for customised edgings in this one. And the difference with this is it's a spiral bound book. So it's a spiral bound book. Which is handy to have laid out on your table or whatever. So this is a similar idea. All the borders are corner borders, and she's got written patterns and stitch charts. Now I noticed in the back of this one she's got them all the little mini pictures, which I do like that because you can have a look at a glance and see if this other book does the same. No. I do like that idea. So those are those two books. Between them I've got 289 different borders to go at. So I think the good thing about these books is they do go around the corner, so you can put your piece on the page and see whether or not the border looks good with the piece that you're wanting to edge. And it does, they are coloured. These are in colour. Now there's pros and cons to that. You can see how the borders will look with different colour combinations, but I think it can also put you off if, you know, the colours don't suit you. I don't know. But that's those two books. So I did go a little bit mad with books. And I think that's going to be it for books now. And I hope that was useful to you. If you've got any comments, questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. If you haven't already subscribed, please click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you're notified when I do upload new videos. And thank you so much for spending time with me. If you're a returning subscriber, I thank you very much for your continued support. It is much appreciated. Welcome to new viewers. It's nice to see you here. I will see you next time. Bye for now.